welcome to the 1995 Perth Invitational Fastball Tournament, also known as the Perth Shootout, here from Conlon Farm Park in Perth, Ontario. I'm your host for today's broadcast, Glenn Sutherland. This is our last telecast of the preliminary round. We have a great game between the Canadian National Development Team and the New Zealand National Team. With a win, the Canadian team can move into a bye position for the semifinals, right through the quarterfinals. The New Zealand national team, they're playing for second or third in their division, which will determine their opponent in the quarterfinals. For more on today's game, let's go down to play-by-play commentator Claire Porter and color analyst Ray Madden.
Okay, well, Ray, a team that you know a lot about on the diamond right now with the national camp being in Smith Falls this past week. Very important game for both of these teams. We'll get into some of the possibilities. Who ends up where with the ties in that. But you've seen this club, a good young ball club, this national development team.
That's right, Claire. A lot of talent here from all over Canada. The best young players, ages 21 to 25, and lots of talent, a lot of speed. They tend to play a short game, slap the ball and run. Very hard to double them up. And if the fielder doesn't field the ball cleanly, they'll be there. And they can hit the ball. And they brought in a couple of veteran pitchers here, Brad Baker and Chris Wilson from the Oshawa area. And young pitcher with them to help out this weekend from Smith Falls, Troy McLean.
Okay, we're set to go here. Behind the plate, calling balls and strikes is Les Novak, Guy Neron, and Mark Corbin on the base paths. And the first pitch. Strike called. Eddie Colisi leading off, playing second base. And between innings, we'll bring you up to date on the situation here. This is a very important game.
Got him to chase a drop ball there. Wilson, a veteran pitcher, Oshawa area, through last year with Kempville senior team. Getting ahead early in the count here, and that's what he wants to do.
And a very young team is this national team, Ray. I believe all under the age of 25.
Average age here, 21 to 25.
That pitch fouled back.
Playing against a good New Zealand club. I believe they've got some younger players this year, too. They played well last night to defeat Waterloo 2-1 in the final game here last night. Got an impressive pitching performance out of their pitcher last night. Grant was on the mound.
And here's the pitch now. Low. Smith looks in for the sign. And the pitch. Swing and a miss.
Got him on a drop ball here.
Good start.
Good pitch.
That'll bring to the plate now Dean Rice. Rice plays third base for the New Zealand national team.
With one out, the third baseman.
Two national clubs, I guess we'd say here, Ray. The national development team for Canada and the New Zealand national team. We've got an international flair to this one for sure.
That's right. I believe New Zealand, as we said, is breaking in some younger players as well. Some of their top pitchers are pitching in the United States with teams like Green Bay and Tampa and so on. But the Canadian team here, these are young men that are being looked at for possible national team players in the next couple of years, with a World Championship coming up next year. So there's a lot at stake here for these young Canadian players.
Chris Wilson on the mound with the delivery. And this is the off-season for New Zealand, Ray. They're having their winter down there now.
That's right. So they go on tour here, and many of their top players come over and play in the U.S. during the off-season. And in this case, they're on a tour of North America here, giving experience to some of their young players.
Right back, and I think he caught that before it hit the ground anyway. You'd have to call that.
Yes, he did. 2 up, 2 down. Wilson's in cruise control here. Looks like he's throwing well.
2 out. The left fielder, number 25, Steve
Roberts now. He's handling left field duties. We'll see how Ray get you to talk us through the
defense. We have center field Rob Giesebrick from Saskatchewan. Gary Gardner in left field. Scott Mercer, shortstop, Newfoundland. Ken McIntosh, Scott Hirschman, Jason Moline in right field, Chris Wilson pitching, Todd King at first, Sean O'Brien catching, DP Dwayne Miller here.
And Roberts hits that down the first base side. A good job there by Scott Hirschman, the second baseman. They'll lock that one up, 3 up, 3 down in the top of the first.
Great defensive team, the Canadian National Development Team here. Play great defense, very fast.
New Zealand in the top of the first inning. No runs, no hits, no Canada.
Well, we have to thank the umpiring staff and both coaching staffs for just holding it a bit there for us while we got things ready to go. We're ready to go and going now. And as I said earlier, the umpiring staff, Les Novak, will be calling balls and strikes behind the plate. Guy Néron is at first base. And on the third base line, we have Mark Corbin. Ray, in watching this camp over the week, before we get to that, maybe we'll take a look at the defensive lineup for New Zealand.
New Zealand in center field, Fred Wyatt. Left field, Steve Roberts. Right field, our shortstop, Roman Gabriel. Right field, Gus Leger. Third, Dean Rice. Second, Ed Cohassi. Pitcher, Steve Leach. First, Tom Makaya. Catcher, Bevan Martin. Todd Wilson is the DP.
Well, our other contests which we saw New Zealand in, Mr. Leach got in a bit of trouble when he came on. We'll see how he is at it today, getting comfortable out there. These pitchers are very picky about how that ground is, right?
That's right. It's got to be just right.
The batting order now for the
Canadian National Development Team. We're going to see a lot of speed here. Todd King leading off, Scott Hirschman, Rob Giesebrick, Scott Mercer, Dwayne Miller, Kent McIntosh, Jason Moline, Gary Gardner, Sean O'Brien, and Chris Wilson is pitching but not hitting.
That Giesebrick name, a popular hockey name in the area.
Yeah, he's from Manitoba. Tremendous center fielder, good batter, and great arm out there. You're going to see a lot of speed from this team. They tend to slap the ball, bunt the ball, steal.
You were with this club, I guess, basically the full week, Ray. Just name a few of the ones that really stood out in your mind.
Players that really jumped out. Giesebrick, as I mentioned. Scott Mercer from Newfoundland, shortstop, very smooth, good hitter. Sean O'Brien, the catcher from Newfoundland, also great receiver and great arm. Just so much talent. Todd King, first base from Nova Scotia, came in late this week, but he's already played on the national team in the Pan American Games. All of these guys are very talented, or they wouldn't be here.
And there was some pitchers, of course, we know the pitchers. They're all over the continent, not only just the country, but some of the pitchers that were in. There's 4 or 5 pitchers, I guess, and none of them here this weekend because of commitments.
That's right. Robbie O'Brien from Newfoundland had to return to Alberta to pitch in the provincials. So Lloyd Minster, the same with Kevin Lloyd from Calgary. And Todd Martin and Frank Cox are pitching with their club teams, Owen Sound and Napanee, in this weekend tournament.
Okay, Todd King will lead it off. That first pitch a little high. Gets away on Bevan Martin. He'll be followed by Scott Hirschman, the second baseman, who had the last put out at the top of the first. We're in the bottom of 1 here. The last regular tournament contest are scheduled, and we hit the playoffs. Slap bunt down the first baseline. A good job by that second baseman there, Eddie Colisi, to wrap that one up. You kind of expect those guys to pick those, though, Ray. They don't usually miss them.
That's right, and you see there a case of King trying to fake the bunt here and slap it.
Number 6.
And they'll attempt to do that sort of thing, use their speed, play the short game. We see here pitches up a bit on him, and he squares and then slaps the ball. Try to get the infield moving and slap it through a hole. In this case, he popped it up, though, and the second baseman makes a good play on it.
Real advantage for a batter who hits on the first base side, Ray. Can kind of drag that bat and get a step in advance over the other side of the plate.
That's right, and these guys are very quick, so they like to do that.
Leach with the delivery. That's a squibber down the third baseline, picked off by shortstop Roman Gabriel.
Another case, he jammed him with that pitch. Again, he tried to just fight it off and slap it over the infield, but he popped it up. Good play by the shortstop.
Rob Giesebrick.
And now we have the hockey player coming to the plate. I don't know if he plays hockey at all, but we've seen that in a lot of Pembroke jerseys.
I believe he did. I believe he was a good hockey player, and I think he was also drafted in baseball. This guy is a fine athlete.
I think you see that a lot, Ray, when you get an athlete of this caliber. They excel in more than one sport. A little high and outside, the first pitch from Leach to
Giesebrick tends to have quick wrists. He waits until the ball's almost in the catcher's glove, and then he seems to pick it right out of the glove with that bat.
Leach now gets the signal. Good shot from our overhead camera just above us.
Good pitch, outside corner drop. Giesebrecht appeared to pull his head off that one a little bit.
Scott Mercer's on deck for the Canadian development team. Here's the pitch now from Leach. Hard shot at the first baseman. He gets a bit of a hop off the knee and takes it himself for the out. 3 up, 3 down, both sides.
For Canada in the bottom of the first inning, no runs on no hits. No
These guys would be most likely, Ray, pretty
base.
excited about this whole week.
New Zealand at 0.
Okay, we see here Giesebrecht tries to slide around that first baseman there going down the line, but he just got him on the shoulder. Shows you the kind of effort these guys are putting in because they're playing for future spots on the national team.
I was just going to say a great effort by the runner Giesebrecht to sidestep that check. I guess I'm thinking more hockey again, eh?
Before the start of the next half inning, I'd invite ISC Commissioner for Eastern Canada, Mr. Roger May, to come on the field.
I have a presentation to be made here.
We'd like to take the opportunity to recognize a player
Neil.
and coach present here in the park this morning, and we'd like to do that right now. Roger, I'm going to ask you to provide some detail on this particular individual.
Neil Fennell making a
And I'm going to ask
presentation
this
here.
man to come forward. He's going to come forward at a slow rate of pace. Mark Smith, come on out here, buddy.
Mark Smith. There we're giving a special award to Mark Smith, and you saw him during the week, Ray.
Yeah,
he
Mark,
was the pitching coach.
Mark Smith, former national team player. He tore his Achilles tendon a week or two ago playing pitching senior in Halifax. He's a guest coach with the national development team handling the pitchers. Mark, a great pitcher over the years, two-time ISC world champion. And he's receiving a plaque here from the ISC commissioner.
First-class gentleman, too, Ray. I know he was out to your clinic there and helping the young ones.
That's right.
And even some of the old ones.
Very knowledgeable pitcher, and he's handling the pitching staff here, working on everything from mechanics to the mental part of pitching.
He threw in the tournament in Ottawa, I believe, for Halifax.
Yes,
this
pitches
year.
for the Halifax Keiths senior team. And Mark has been here a couple of times in the past with teams from the Maritimes.
And a justly earned award. But usually, Ray, when they get to this plateau, you run into nothing but class anyway. And I have to say that young man certainly carries himself well. And of course, he's given a lot to the game of fastball. We see him trying to take a seat over there. It's not as easy as he usually hits the bench.
That's right.
We got to look at the zeros, Ray, on the graphics there. No runs, no hits, no errors for New Zealand. No runs, no hits, no errors for the Canadian National Development Team. We finished 1 inning. Coming to the plate now is Fred Wyatt, center fielder for the New Zealand national team. He'll be followed by Bevan Martin. First pitch, a strike to Wyatt.
Wilson's been on his game here. He's getting ahead in the count early. That's what he wants to do against these guys.
And the pitch. A little low, evens up the count.
From what I've seen of the New Zealand team, they also play a short game, although they did hit a home run last night. I believe it was their center fielder. But they tend to make contact and have a lot of speed.
And both teams very young. That pitch a little high to Wyatt.
Both teams very good defensively.
Watched a bit of the inter squad game last Wednesday evening at Lower Reach in Smith Falls. And remarkable defense and remarkable sticks too. That's why they're there.
That's right. These guys can do it all. Young and enthusiastic, playing for spots on Canada's national team in the next couple of years.
Yeah, that's a good point. These guys are maybe trying to make a team maybe 2 or 3 years down the road.
That's right. I want to displace some of those guys that are already there that play for the Gators and various other teams, Green Bay and so on. A lot of Canadians playing on American teams, even in this tournament.
That's the second strikeout for Chris Wilson.
Yeah, got him there looking at an outside drop there. outside corner.
Catcher Bevan Martin now step to the plate for the New Zealand Nats. Wilson looks in for the signal from O'Brien. And O'Brien was seen quite a bit last year, catching for the Stittsville Juniors.
That's right. He and his brother Robbie, who now pitches out in Lloydminster in junior, and Sean Dunphy from Newfoundland, who was here this week with the team. All played for Stittsville last year. Helped them win the provincial elimination tournament. Played in the Canadians.
Wilson got Martin to go for the high rise there.
Several of these players on the national development team were on the Canadian youth team that won the World Championship in New Zealand about 3 years ago. So they've had a lot of experience also in national and international competition.
Well, a couple local lads on the bench. I know Jeff Seed. Well, Jeff Seed not playing with him, but he was there all week.
That's right. Jeff had an excellent camp. Hit the ball very well, played first base well, and he played in the tournament here with his club team, Boston, New York. But I know they think highly of Jeff, so he's got an excellent chance to be on the national team in the next couple of years.
Wilson's off to a good start, Ray. That's 2 Ks back-to-back here in the top of the second inning.
Yes, he's really cruising along here, pitching as well as I've ever seen him pitch.
Number 12, Gus Ledger.
Ledger comes to the plate now. We'll have to take that pronunciation because Peter is very seldom wrong.
That's right. He's the bilingual announcer here.
Gus Ledger handling right field for the Nats. He'll be followed by the designated player, Todd Wilson. And the pitch. A hard shot up the middle. Gets through for the first hit for the New Zealand Nats.
And he got that pitch up a little bit in the strike zone. And Ledger made good contact right up the middle.
Wilson now comes to the plate, wearing number 8. But
okay, we see the pitch up a little bit in the strike zone here, and Ledger drills that one right up the middle. Good contact.
Threaded the needle on that one, just out of the reach of Chris Wilson on the mound, and between short and second. Strike call by umpire
Wilson
Les Novak.
heats that one up a little bit.
Wilson now steps to the plate to face Chris Wilson. Wilson's delivery. We got a pair of Wilsons going at it here. All you golfers, this could be Wilson's staff.
It'd be interesting to see here if New Zealand tries to run. Sean O'Brien has an excellent arm in there for the Canadian national team.
Got a pair of Wilsons fighting it out here. Chris on the mound, Todd in the batter's box. Chris looks for the signal from O'Brien, and the pitch.
A little high and outside. Tried to get him to chase a rise there.
Wilson wanted that one. But the pitchers want all of them. Can't give them everything.
That's right. They seldom agree with the umpires.
Wilson looks in for the signal from Sean O'Brien. And the pitch. Strike call.
A little heat on that one. Blew it by him.
Gus Ledger on first base. First man to reach base for the New Zealand Nats. 2-2 the count on Todd Wilson. Wilson reads the signals, and he'll bring it. Outside, Wilson wanted that one also. Pretty close pitch on that one.
Close, a little bit outside maybe. Umpire said so.
Wilson will be followed by Thomas McKaya, handling first base duties, and then shortstop Roman Gabriel. Here comes the pitch now. That's popped up foul down the first base side.
Low and outside there, outside part of the strike zone. Batter fought it off.
And Ledger was on the run. Quite a battle going here. That's Chris Wilson and Todd Wilson. Here's the pitch. Line right up the middle. Second baseman comes up with it for the out. Hirschman to King for the out.
Good defensive play there. Ball wasn't hit as hard as it appeared. Slowed down. He made the good play to first base.
Touch of a duck snort, maybe you might call that one. Well, Ray, another local lad on the bench for the national team. We'll get to that.
We see a pitch up in the strike zone. Jammed him a little bit here. He lines it by the pitcher, but the ball slows down, and the second baseman is able to get over there and make the play.
That was a good shot if it would have been a hard shot, because it would have been up the middle, but just a bit of a squibber. Troy McLean, Ray, picked up late in the week.
That's
throw
right.
Some innings with the national team. Troy had a great outing at the eliminations. Troy's come a long way this year. I think maybe using some more off speed and that. He's got a lot of tools there.
That's right. The national team expected 8 pitchers in camp this week, but only 4 were able to attend due to injuries and work commitments, etc. So since they were in need of pitching help there, they've taken a look at Troy. Troy had a good weekend, as you say, in the provincial elimination tournament, and he threw an inning in the exhibition game at Smith Falls for the national team against Newfoundland and did well. So he's here this weekend as backup insurance here for Brad Baker and Chris Wilson, and he may see some action.
Well, Troy's seen a lot of innings in Oshawa. If they could have got him maybe a little more rest on the Saturday, they may have went farther. Troy with a gutsy weekend.
That's right. He threw 34 innings there, I believe, out of in the game there. Won 5 games. They lost the first one in a 37-team double elimination. When you lose that first game, it's almost impossible. But they made a great effort there, finally losing out Sunday morning.
Yeah, it's a herder when you lose that first one. Scott Mercer, the shortstop, steps into the box. Swing and a miss. He'll be followed by Dwayne Miller, the designated player. On the mound, Steve Leach. Handling the grabbing behind the plate, Bevan Martin. On the corner. Paints that corner with
Leach
that pitch.
likes to work the corners here. Good location, outside corner and low. Very hard to do anything with that pitch.
Leach with the delivery.
Tried the same spot again, but he was a little outside and a little lower.
As Maxwell would say, he missed it by that much. Smart deduction. Leach now with the pitch. And that's a squibber to the shortstop. Gabriel, not a problem. Gabriel to Ledger for the out.
Now
Brings to the plate now, Dwayne Miller.
Number 43.
Again, these national team members. Okay, we'll see here the pitch is up in the strike zone, outside a bit. It's a bit of a squibber here off the end of the bat, but these national team members are fast enough to make every play close.
And it was close at first, as
That's
we
right,
see there.
very close. A lot of teams that would have been a routine play.
Youth and speed. And that gets through the legs of Roman Gabriel. I think he thought that one was going to come up, Ray.
I believe so. We'll have to give him an E6 there. I think ball was hit hard, but it went right between his legs. He didn't stay down on it. Made that fundamental error of coming up too soon.
Well, we'll see if our official scorer is thumbs down. We got the air.
Okay, we've got a runner in here, I believe. A little speed. Number 21.
Ladies and gentlemen, for Canada, running in place of Miller, number 21, Mark Burke. Now
Burke
batting
running.
with 1 out, the third baseman, number 26.
You'll
See, again,
All.
pitch up in the zone. He hits it hard right at the shortstop, but shortstop pulled up on it too soon. Ball stayed down right between his legs.
Yeah, as I always tell our guys, down and up. Get that ground to the dirt. Or glove to the dirt, I should say. Foul down the third base side.
That's
Valiant
right.
effort there by...
Got to field the ball right from the ground up and in. Glove should be right on the ground.
Well, it just goes to prove that even these guys make mistakes, right?
That's right.
And the shortstop there, Gabriel's had an outstanding weekend in any contest I've seen him in.
Yes, they don't make very many errors, and he'll probably come back to make up for that.
At the plate, Keith McIntosh. Here's the pitch. Lays down that bunt. And they get the out at first, but the sacrifice is executed well.
That's right. Good sacrifice bunt. Got it down on the ground. Did the job. Got him to second base.
Now batting with 2 out, the right fielder.
Jason Moline now.
Number 10, Jason
Comes to the
Moline.
plate, handling right field duties.
Moline. Okay, we see a good bunt here.
Heck of an effort by that first baseman too, Ray.
New Zealand executes well on the defense there to throw the runner out at first. And that's about all you can do on that play when it's executed well.
So we've got a man at second in scoring position.
Jason Moline from Saskatchewan here at the plate.
And he steps in to face Steve Leach on the slab for New Zealand. Leach now looks in for the signal from Martin. And the pitch. Swing and a miss.
I believe Jason is a young teacher in Saskatchewan, just coming out of university, and many of these guys are in university or just finished.
Well, you teachers are the only one that get time off to do this fastball stuff in the summer.
Well, we have to do something in the summer to keep busy.
Here's the pitch now from Leach. Strike called on the knees. With Gary Gardner on deck, following Jason Moline. Leach gets set, as does Moline. And the pitch. And he got him with the K. First strikeout for Steve Leach. Retires the sides.
Right down the pipe there. Moline seemed to be looking for something else.
So still no score.
No runs, no hits, 1 New Zealand error.
Could
Coming
be a
up.
defensive battle here.
A lot of them have been that. Pitchers and defense, very important. And in a contest we did previously, Ray, a big surprise with the Gators really knocking that Green Bay club.
Gators have been overpowering this weekend. Overpowered New York, overpowered Green Bay, who are considered to be their main opposition. And those two clubs will probably meet again today in the semifinals.
Well, we see the graphics there. New Zealand, no runs on 1 hit and 1 error. We got all goose eggs for the national development team. No runs, no hits, no errors.
Number 19, Thomas McKay.
And Thomas McKay now will start it up for the
Good, good crowd moving in here. Should be a big crowd today. They're going to see some great ball games here as the top teams go at it this afternoon here to see who's going to win this tournament.
Yeah, it'll just keep getting fuller, if you can use that word. They used to have a brush company, so we'll just brush that one off. Coming to the plate now, Thomas McKay handling first base. Foul back. And did we get our cameraman on that? Heard some metal. It's a dangerous spot back there.
He better have his glove on.
Roman Gabriel, the gentleman who made the error last inning, will be following McKay. Wilson with the delivery now. Outside.
Tried to get him to chase one outside here. McKay wasn't having any part of that.
We've got Les Novak from Minnesota. Les makes the trip up every year to the shootout, handling the umpiring duties at home plate.
That's right. International flavor with the umpires as well.
Well, this is a tournament that everybody likes to come and partake in, right?
It certainly is gaining a reputation as one of the premier events in fastball in North America.
And the pitch. Strike called.
Good pitch, outside corner. Again, not much you can do with that other than foul it off.
Now Kea steps in. Wilson gets the signal and the pitch. Swing and a miss. Tried to hold, but even he knows.
Excellent pitch there. He crossed him up and came with the drop on the inside corner that time, under his hands. Excellent pitch.
It's 4 strikeouts for Wilson.
Good piece of catching there by Sean O'Brien, also calling that pitch inside corner. They had been working the outside corner.
And O'Brien just 1 year out of junior, I think. Right?
That's right, and he's one of the best catchers in Canada.
I guess he used to get a lot of practice throwing with the brother throwing.
He and his brother certainly work well together. You'll hear a lot of them in the next few years, I would imagine, on the national team, the O'Brien brothers.
Roman Gabriel at the plate. That pitch fouled off down the first base side of the play. Gabriel looks like a young one, Ray.
Right. They've got some young players on this New Zealand national team as well, using this tour, I believe, to give experience to the young players as they get ready for next year's World Championships as well, which will be held in Midland, Michigan.
Yes, New Zealand played exhibition games in Innerkip and Port Perry on their tour through Ontario to get to the shootout here.
They also attended the big tournament in Salt Lake City last weekend, I believe, down in the United States.
Here's the pitch from Wilson. That's outside. Good job by O'Brien.
I believe that World Championship next year is on the same weekend as the Perth Shootout, so there may be a conflict there. Neil Fennell may have to move his tournament weekend or...
Strike called, and Gabriel did not like that one.
Inside corner again. Wilson's really working that inside. Umpire's giving it to him, so that's where you go.
Back up to the top of the order. Ed Colesi struck out his first trip to the plate. Handles second base duties for the New Zealand Nats. You see some of the bench of this New Zealand team, and there's some youngsters there. A hard shot back up the middle. Wilson grabs that one for the out.
Great defensive play by Wilson there. Ball was hit hard.
Wilson cruising right along here. Coming up in the last half of the inning will be Gary Gardner, the left fielder. He'll be followed by Sean O'Brien, then back up to the top of the National Development Order in Todd King.
See, hard shot up the middle here, right at Wilson. He sticks out that glove, makes a good play. Throws him out at first base.
And a shot from our overhead camera at the shape of this infield. They've kept this ballpark in great shape all weekend, and I guess we just become to expect that, right?
That's right. Excellent infields here. You don't see very many bad hops here. A lot of sand base here for the infield.
Yeah, Roman Gabriel will say it wasn't a bad hop. It was the fact that it didn't hop at all.
That's right. He expected a hop.
Steve Leach on the mound for the New Zealanders. Martin Bevan handling the job behind the plate. Around the infield, we've got Gus Leger at first, Eddie Colesi playing second, shortstop Roman Gabriel, and Dean Rice in the third base position. Good shot of our large crowd here, starting out the day here at Conlon Farm. This is the final day of the Conlon Farm Perth Shootout, and the final game also of the regular part of the schedule. We'll move to playoffs right after this with the quarterfinal, semifinal, and the final. They'll have a change of staff on the headsets. Wayne Kerfoot and Ron Harrison will be handling the next game of the tournament. Here's the pitch.
Foul ball called by the umpire. I think everybody knows now.
Yes, Les made us know. Get a look at Les too on that foul. Shot from the overhead, and I guess we're not going to get to that one. Leach now looks in. And the pitch from Leach. A little outside, 9 outside.
Rise ball there, a little up out of the strike zone.
Sean O'Brien on deck. Gary Gardner at the plate.
Lineup is so strong that they've got great hitters all the way through it.
Similar instance in the game previous to this, Ray. They walked a couple batters on that Green Bay team, and Steve Price come to the plate, drove one up the middle, and won the game for the Green Bay Roadrunners.
And
went for a bad one there.
Got him on a changeup, low and outside.
That's the second strikeout for Steve Leach.
Now batting with 1 out. The
Look at the National Development Team bench, and Les Novak, the most traveled umpire, I guess, for this tournament.
Yes, I believe he came the farthest of any of the boys in blue.
Sean O'Brien, the catcher now at the plate.
And we should say girls. We have Mary DeBrun, former Smith Falls player, umpiring here.
Mary, a good one.
Yes, she's gaining a reputation as a good umpire and is working a lot of the top class tournaments in the area.
Well, you know you're doing the job when you get asked to do this one, right?
That's right.
And the umpires, like the ball players, just love to get into this type of competition. Rise ball.
High and out of the strike zone here.
We'll be back up to the top of the order after O'Brien. Todd King on deck.
Although O'Brien's batting ninth, he certainly can hit the ball.
Good job off the mound by Leach to get that one.
That's right. Hard ground ball back to the pitcher.
That's the second out of the inning.
Now batting with 2 out. The first
Todd
baseman,
King.
number 29.
Having first base
Todd
duties.
King.
And the exhibition game, which this national development team had with St. John's, I believe it was Thursday, was well attended, Ray, and I'm sure you're happy with the success of that.
That's right. We had good crowds out for the exhibitions and some good ball played there. The Nationals won the first one. The second one was a 0-0 tie.
Swing and a miss.
King batting leadoff here, likes to play that short game, hit and run, slash and dash as they call it.
Popped out to the second baseman this last trip to the plate.
He'll fake a bunt and slap it through if he can.
And you called that one, Ray. Right in the hole. Good effort by the right fielder, but a double. You may have to go back to Smith Falls with me. I think you have ESP.
He certainly pulled it off that time. Got them moving, slapped it.
Number 6, Scott.
Well executed was that one.
King is very good at that.
Slap single.
Even though the pitch was up out of the strike zone there, he was able to direct it into right center field. Dropped in for a double.
Scott Hirschman now steps to the plate, the second baseman. He popped out to the shortstop his last trip to the plate. Strike call on Hirschman.
Got him to chase a low one there. You might see a bunt in order here with that leadoff man on second base. They may want to move him over.
To the left side. 2 out here, and the runner at second in scoring position. Good shot there of young Scott Hirschman. Leach now with the pitch. That's foul back. In the on-deck circle, Rob Giesbrick, the center fielder.
He'd like to slap a single here, score that run. King has a lot of speed. It won't take much to get him in here.
1-2 the count now. On Hirschman, and the pitch.
And
a dirty hop.
Bad bounce there.
And National Development Team safe at home plate. Good slide there by Todd King.
That's right.
Slid off to the side, touched the plate with his hands.
Using that speed, and they got the benefit of a bad hop at first base on the first baseman there to hop right over his shoulder. Gives Hirschman a single
Now
there.
batting with 2 out. the center fielder.
And King, of course,
number
with his speed,
25,
in to score and a good slide.
Don't think we could give him an error on that one, Ray. That took a terrible hop there.
That was a bad hop.
So the National Development Team goes ahead, 1-0. Should the development team win, Ray, there'd be a three-way tie, for the second spot. So that could get interesting. Throw to second. And he got him just off the bag.
That's right.
He was in safe on the slide, but
Hirschman
overslid.
hesitated on the pass ball, and then he went. Catcher made an excellent throw to second base, and again, he tried to slide around the second baseman. I believe he may have overslid the bag.
For Canada in the bottom of the third inning, a 1-run.
Well, Ray, as we all know, to run something like this, you need all sorts of backing and getting back to your week.
Canada 1.
Yeah, we see Hirschman here hesitates on the pass ball. He wasn't sure how far it was going. Starts again for second. Good throw, but he overslides the bag.
He's off it. Good
And
call
the
by the
second
umps.
baseman puts the tag on him.
Great shot by our camera crew.
Great shot by the crew here.
As I was saying, Ray, your camp in Smith Falls, without sponsorship there, you would have been in trouble. You got a lot of guys in Smith Falls, which I think we can plug right now for helping you.
That's right. We got
Rito Lumber's always there.
Rito Home Care, always there. Sponsors for many, many years. Helped out in getting extra bleachers in and so on. We have Healy Transportation donating buses and drivers all week to cart these guys back and forth from the hotel and up to the Perth tournament. Mike Fair supplying a van for the coaches and taking players to and from the airport. Just can't say enough about these people, local sponsors that have pitched in. Without them, we just couldn't do these kind of things.
Leading off for New Zealand in the top of the fourth inning.
Top of four here.
Number 5.
As Dean Rice will step in. He had a line shot back at the pitcher his last trip to the plate. And a shot from our center field camera at Chris Wilson. And now Dean Rice steps into the box. Wilson with a delivery. That's popped up out of play down the third baseline. Another shot of some of the fans here. And they're getting pumped for the finals of this tournament. As we've mentioned too, Ray, there will not be a rematch in the final of the Worlds last year, as Green Bay and Toronto could meet in the semifinal.
That's right. I would bet money that they'll meet in the semifinal, and that should be quite a battle.
Couple scenarios here. If New Zealand win this one, they would end up in first. That would put the development team in second and Waterloo in third. If you tie a team at the score head-to-head, the winning team gets the advantage in that. A few other possibilities here we'll get to. Pitch a little low. And Rice goes for a bit of a walk. Not the way he'd like to, but a stroll. And a good shot there of Dean Rice, the third baseman for the New Zealand Nats. Wilson's delivery now. Slap shot up the middle. And they get him. Good set of wheels, though, by Rice, but...
That's right. New Zealand likes to play the short game as well. Bunt, slap, fake bunt, and run. Lots of speed. Good defensive play there by Canadian development team.
Now batting with one out, the left fielder, number 25.
See him fake the bunt here and get the infield moving and then slap it through. Second baseman makes an excellent play here. Bare hands it, throws him out.
Hirschman to King for the out. And they had to hurry that one as Rice had a good set of wheels going down the first base line there.
Yes, we're seeing two similar teams here in their style. Speed, play the short game, good defense, good pitching.
And I think, Ray, both countries trying to develop the youth. As we look at New Zealand, they're very young, and the Smith Falls, this national team is also a very young club. Hard shot at the second baseman. Once again, Hirschman to King for the out. That'll bring to the plate now Fred Wyatt.
Good defense here again.
Fred Wyatt.
Wyatt went down to the K in his first trip to the plate. Good look at Wilson now, and the delivery. Still outside.
Tried to get him to chase a pitch on the outside here.
Wyatt at the plate with Bevan Martin on deck. Another one of those Grattan Lane strikes. Give Billy a plug there. Fred Wyatt at the plate. A little high. Catcher Bevan Martin on deck. Gus Ledger waiting. Here's the pitch. Strike called.
Right down the pipe with that one.
No score in the contest. It's Chris Wilson on the mound for Canada. Sorry, I sit corrected. The development team did get a run last inning.
They used their speed there to get that run too. They don't have to hit the ball very far with these guys with the speed they have.
Fred Wyatt steps in with the count 3-2. Here's the pitch, the big one. Swing and a miss. Got him on the high one. Another K registered to Wilson.
Got him to chase one up out of the strike zone there.
Takes 6 strikeouts now
For New Zealand in the
Chris Wilson on the mound.
No runs,
Or on the slab, as you should say.
no Canada errors, and no runners left on base.
And Wilson seems to be in control of his game out there. Pitching excellent ball today.
We'll get to some of the possibilities now. Should the development team win, they'll finish first. The 4-way ties, or 3-way tie, I should say. Waterloo defeated St. John's 1-0, and St. John's defeated New Zealand 6-4. So it all adds up to the runs against involving those 3 teams. See one of our cameramen high in the air here at Conlon Farm.
Got the best seat in the house. I believe it was Wayne.
Not Wayne Adams. That wouldn't be Wayne Adams up that high, would it? Old
I'm
firefighter.
not sure. Is he afraid of heights?
No, he's a
Leading off for
firefighter.
Canada,
That'd be
bottom
Wayne.
of the
That'd be
fourth
Wayne.
inning, the center fielder, number 25, Rob Giesebrecht.
Gazebrick now will lead off the inning for the national team. He grounded out to first base, unassisted there in his last trip to the plate. Scott Mercer on deck.
Getting into the heart of the Canadian order here. 2 good batters here. Giesebrecht and Mercer.
And Giesbrick squares to bunt. Strike call. Didn't get the bat on that one. One nothing in favor of this young Canadian national development team. Leach has the signal now. And the pitch. Swing and a miss.
Got that one up with the letters. Giesebrecht wanted that one. He was going downtown there.
Leach sets himself now on the slab. Steve Leach on the mound for the New Zealand National Club. And he brings her.
Outside.
A little low and outside. And not a bad day for ball here, but if the wet stuff stays away.
That's right. A little overcast, but
We've had our differences in weather. I know Friday evening was warm and bright, but humid, really, really tough on the ball players. And then yesterday, I think, was the ideal day for a ball tournament. I think Neil puts his order in for weather right after the shootout for next year.
at least by January anyway of that year.
Outside the pitch.
Trying to get him to chase that outside drop. Giesbrick's looking for something in the zone, something he can handle. He's very quick wrists.
Here's the pitch now. That one fouled down the third base side.
He got one there that he wanted, fouled it off. You'll notice all these hitters, good fundamentals. The hands are down low, close to the point of contact. They set themselves in the batter's box.
Steve Leach not happy with that ball, using Dudley's in this tournament. And it's amazing how picky some of these pitchers and catchers can be about the ball. I know the other day yesterday, we were had to go through a few to get a few.
That's right. The pitchers, of course, pitching so much, they can tell the weight of a ball very quickly, and they don't like a heavy ball.
Hard shot at the second baseman. Nice job knocking it down, but good set of wheels. Development team, Rob Giesbrick gets on.
Again, the speed coming through. Hit the ball hard. Quick wrist there by Giesbrick, and quick feet as well.
A good effort by Eddie Coolesy at second base too, Ray, but
that's right.
Unable to get it.
Ball was hit hard. He had to dive to his right to get it. Knocked it down, but wasn't able to throw him out.
Colesy's made a couple of those diving knockdowns.
Giesbrick hits this ball hard. And he beats the throw. We have Mercer here looking to bunt.
And Scott Mercer grounded out to second last trip.
National team would like to move that runner over. He could fake a bunt and slap it as well.
He puts her down. High hopper, have to go to first. Good sacrifice, textbook stuff.
That's right. Got to move that runner, and that's the way you play in this caliber of fastball. Get the bunt on the ground.
That moves Giesbrick to second.
We see excellent fundamentals by Mercer, squaring just as the pitcher gets ready to deliver. Good bunt. High hopper there, but only thing the third baseman can do is go to first.
Got that on the bottom of the bat, Ray, and you always want him to put it into the dirt, and he did. Sometimes you have a tendency to pop that one up, but you gotta get the bottom half of that bat on it and hit her into the dirt.
Good fundamentals. Got to get that bat at the top of the strike zone, and if the pitch is above that, you leave it alone. Otherwise, direct it down.
Okay, Dwayne Miller is the designated player. He was the batter that fooled shortstop Roman Gabriel there. And
that's right. He hit a hard ground ball right at the shortstop. Went through his legs. This time he chased a high outside rise.
Is that the 5-hole in fastball also?
I would think so.
Ask Howie Meeker about that one. No, that's not.
I don't think he plays nets for the Leafs, does he?
No. Well, he most likely could. Just ask him. Strike called, and I don't believe that Dwayne Miller was really over-enthused about that one. A runner at second in the person of Rob Giesbrick got on with a single and was moved by a sacrifice bunt from Scott Mercer. Now at the plate, Dwayne Miller. Dwayne's a good-sized lad.
Yes, he can give the ball a ride if he gets something in his zone here that he can handle. He'll hit it a long way, and he won't have to hit it far for Giesbrick to score.
And Leach with the pitch. Swing and a miss. Goes down to the K. Coming to the plate now, Keith McIntosh, third baseman. Sacrifice bunt, last trip to the plate. He'll be going after it this time, though.
Keith McIntosh.
Yes, they need a single here to score that run. I'd like to put another one on the board here.
Jason Moline in the on-deck circle as McIntosh steps to the plate. Steve Leach's delivery. A little low and outside on that one. Ray, you were saying because of commitments, this national team could lose a few players.
That's right. Several of them have to fly out 5 o'clock this afternoon, so could create some problems should they advance to the the final round.
Strike call. 30-some ball players in the camp, right?
They had close to 30, I believe about 27 at different times throughout the week. Some players weren't able to make it because of injuries, work commitments, etc.
Here's the pitch from Leach. Got him on an off speed.
Good changeup, outside corner.
Young McIntosh will be checking his back out after that one. A little young to be thrown at your back.
I believe McIntosh is from British Columbia, playing out there with Victoria.
The pitch. Strike called, and McIntosh goes down to the K. Back-to-back Ks for Leach.
Again, off-speed pitches, outside part of the plate. Get the batter off balance.
Canada in the bottom of the fourth inning, no runs.
Makes 4 strikeouts for Steve Leach on the mound for the national team of New Zealand.
After 4 innings of
Bevan Martin will come to the plate.
New Zealand 0.
For the Kiwis.
We see, again, an off-speed pitch here. Leach takes a little off this one, outside part of the plate. Gets the batter off balance. Shifted his weight forward a little too early. Got to stay back on those, but that's a lot easier to say than it is to do.
And it looks like we're going to have some changes in the national development team roster, and I imagine we'll see a lot of that, or most likely have seen a lot of it this weekend, because this is also a viewing thing too with this team.
That's right. There's so much talent here that it's very nice to coach or manage a team like that. You've got lots of players. You can go to the bench and have somebody just about as good as what you've got on the field. Lots of talent.
And we'll get those changes shortly. Chris Wilson still on the mound, though. Moving along pretty good. Lawn chairs galore. I don't see that SF one there.
It should be there somewhere.
chair.
I believe my wife has it.
Leading off for New Zealand in the top of the 5th inning, the catcher.
We're into the
number
top
11,
of the 5th. The graphics
Bevan
there.
Martin.
No runs on 1 hit, 1 error for the Kiwis. Canadian National Development Team. 1 run on 3 hits and no errors. 1-0 the score in favor of the young Nats. Martin, or Bevan Martin, the catcher, steps to the plate. Struck out his last trip to the plate. And the pitch, swing and a miss. Gus Ledger will be following Martin. Wilson having a good outing.
Yes, he's pitching very well. First time I've seen him pitch this year, and he looks like he's in control of all his pitches with lots of snap as well.
He's got 6 Ks registered to this point in the contest. Martin went for a bit of a walk to adjust. Steps back in, and the pitch now from Wilson. On the corner. That gives him another K.
Good curveball, outside corner, breaking away from the batter there. Very hard to do
Now
anything
batting
with that
one
pitch.
out, the right fielder, number 12,
Gus Ledger now comes to the plate. He hit one up the middle for a single. His last trip to the plate. Todd Wilson on deck. Ledger steps in now. Want to know the count. Wilson looks in for that signal. And the pitch. In tight on the hands there.
Inside and low, under his hands. Try to get him to chase one there.
Wilson set. And the throw. Foul back behind us. Les Novak shows the arm there, tossing it back to Chris Wilson.
Wilson appears to have good velocity today. These guys are not getting much time to get set for a good cut on him.
Wilson now with the delivery. A little high. Les Novak calling balls and strikes behind the dish. Gus Neron and Mark Corbin handling the base. That's fouled.
Drop ball there. Fouls it off.
Guy Nera on the first base side and Mark Corbin handling the third base side. Three-man system for all contests here in the Perth Shootout. Here's the pitch. A little high. Our first base on balls. The contest.
Tried to get him to chase the high one again, but he laid off it here, so we have a runner for New Zealand.
Now batting
We
with
could
one
see a
out,
little
the designated player,
strategy
number
here.
8,
Bunt,
Todd
hit and run.
Wilson.
Fake bunt, slap it through. They can do it as well.
Todd Wilson now will come to the plate. Grounded out to second base his last trip. Thomas McKaya in the on-deck circle. Thinking bunt, little low though. One nothing in favor of the Canadian National Development Team, who spent a week in Smith Falls talking to a few of the guys. They enjoyed it. What kind of response did you get, Ray?
Well, everything seemed to go well. The coaches were happy with the way things went, so it looks very good. We might be able to do this sort of thing again.
Debbie Gorman was happy too. She got a bunch of her ball players out. Foul ball.
Fouls the bunt off here. Some question of whether he kicked it foul or.
Third baseman Keith McIntosh and Les Novak share a joke. At least it looked like it was a joke, but you gotta try to make that umpire think everything's done on the positive side. Wilson with the delivery. Strike called. He brought that one.
Right down the pipe, inside half of the plate. Good location.
Yes, and I think he realized that he missed on that one.
Outside half of the plate with that one. They steal a base here.
Textbook slide too. When
That's
you get
right.
a chance at that replay, you'll see just that foot hooking the bag.
Now batting
Good
with two
job.
out, the first baseman, number 19, Thomas McKaya.
Excellent pitching and catching.
Watch the hook slide on
You
this.
see the pitch here, strikes out the batter, but New Zealand steals the base here. Excellent slide. Very close.
And a good shot there of the man at second base.
Saying
Gus
Wilson and O'Brien are working very well together. They're moving it in and out.
And the breeze is coming up a bit here. A little high. But it's a breeze again, Ray, that's not going to favor the hitters. It's coming right back at them.
That's right.
Wilson shakes out the pitch. At the plate, Thomas McKaya. That's a pop up to the shortstop. He takes control, locks that one up. Scott Mercer with the final out. And the development team and Mr. Wilson just kind of sliding right along here.
For New Zealand,
Cruising along. Got out of a jam that time. Working very well together.
and one runner left on base.
And coming up for Green Bay, or not Green Bay, for the national team of New Zealand, Jason Moline.
Here are the winners.
Look at that pop out.
Winner of the Loon
He jams him a little here with the pitch inside. Pops it up. Shortstop calls off a third baseman here, which is the right play.
Ottawa, Ontario. And
3 out.
winner of the stained glass hanging, Kathy Purdy.
Jason Moline, in his last trip to the plate, struck out. Arnold Schwartz waving on camera there. He's up there in the clouds too. Him and Wade Adams must be, I don't know how the weather'd be up there. There's the graphics. No runs, 1 hit, 1 error for New Zealand. 1 run on 3 hits, no errors for the Canadian national team.
Leading off for Canada in the bottom of the 5th inning, the right fielder.
Going into the bottom of the 5th here.
Jason
A
Moline.
1-0 score. Devin Martin sets up behind the plate. Good shot there from our outfield camera of the ball diamond. Leach now with the delivery.
Moline shows bunt here. Pitch was down in the dirt, though, so he left it alone. Smart play.
Jason Moline K'd the last time to the dish. There's the pitch now from Leach. Strike called.
Inside corner there. Both these pitchers are really working the corners today. Not very many pitches right down the heart of the plate.
Leach not a big man either, eh? He's,
Tall
slight.
and thin. Good build for a pitcher.
That's rise out of the strike zone. Moline will be followed by Gary Gardner, the left fielder, and then Sean O'Brien, a familiar ball player to the area.
I believe we're going to see a pinch hitter for Gardner. Looks like
Long fly ball to right field. That's locked up. Out there by Gus Leger.
Now
Ledger.
batting with 1 out, the left fielder, number 20, Gary Gardner.
And we'll have a change here, I think. Gary Gardner has been replaced.
yes, I believe that's Levy, I believe. I believe this is Levy from Southern Ontario.
Correction in the batter, now batting for Canada.
Get the announcement here.
23, Dale Levy.
Dale Levy takes over for Gary Gardner. We'll wait and see if he also goes on defense. An outfielder, Levy.
Yes, I believe so.
So it looks like maybe he'll go in on defense for Gary Gardner too in left field.
I think he has a brother here playing with Napanee.
You see that a lot.
Also big outfielder. Played against the Redmen a few years ago for St. Mary's.
A lot of brother acts here this weekend, not necessarily playing on the same team. The Underwood brothers are here.
That's right.
Here's the pitch now. 2 Conley brothers with Green Bay, to name a few. Dale Levy has come in to replace Gary Gardner with 1 out here. Here's the pitch. That ball gets away on Devin Martin. A little high outside. On deck is still Sean O'Brien. Sean O'Brien remaining in the lineup. And then the development lads move up the top of the order. Swing and a miss.
Got him in a good drop ball.
So that position registers its second K. Brings
Now
Sean
batting with
O'Brien
2 out,
to the plate.
catcher, number 44,
Sean hit it back to the pitcher in his first trip to the plate, and he outed first.
Sean can hit the long ball as well as hit for average here, so even though he's batting 9th, he's usually a good hitter.
Well, should New Zealand lose this contest, Ray, they are done. Getting the signal is Sean O'Brien. Picks it up from the third base coach. Here's the pitch from Steve Leach. A large coaching staff they brought along for the camp too, Ray.
Yes, they have Terry Bader, the national team head coach, and Bob Budslag from Victoria. Ron Clark, national junior coach, coaching first base here on the staff.
Swing and a miss.
And trainer Bobby Baird from the Gators also works for the Canadian national team.
I got a chance to talk with Baird. An interesting gentleman to talk to. He's been around the sports.
Very knowledgeable. Comes to sports injuries.
Hockey trainer also.
And along with the coaches that we mentioned, they had guest coaches. Mark Smith, as we saw earlier, senior pitcher, handling the pitchers. Ray Tilley, who plays third base for the Toronto Gators, was also a guest coach at the camp.
Class group of gentlemen also. Didn't mind taking some time and talking fastball with you.
Okay, we have a pop-up foul here. Ball was up in the strike zone. O'Brien basically just fought that one off.
That ball's out of here. On the corner. And Sean not happy with that one.
Good off-speed pitch.
And you hear the bench telling Sean to leave it. Especially when you're a catcher, you want to have that guy behind in the blue to be your best buddy.
For Canada in the bottom of the fifth.
You don't want to turn him against you.
That's right.
No New Zealand error.
To make this team, you've got to be disciplined as well.
After 5 innings of play.
Everybody here has talent, and they're also looking at the attitudes, not only the physical ability, but the mental ability and how they handle pressure, how they work together.
We got a good shot of the New Zealand bench there. Important game for New Zealand if they want to stick around. And as I said earlier, should the development team win, it ends up with a three-way tie for second. New Zealand, St. John's, and Waterloo. Rafael Mendez adjusting his camera. Another one of the many volunteers here helping out with the broadcast here from Trillium 10. Great job done once again this year. I know myself, I can speak for you too, Ray, you kind of look forward to this. This is some pretty good technology we're dealing with, and it's just like a real, just like TSN, Trillium Sports Network.
That's right. Pleasure to work with these gentlemen. The technology, as you say, is
Ladies and gentlemen,
the very latest,
leading
and
off for New
they
Zealand
make the
in
job
top
very
of the
easy.
6th inning, and batting in place of Gabriel, number 14, Travis Wilson.
Into the top of the 6th inning, Travis Wilson takes over for Gabriel. Strike called in his first pitch.
Good pitch, inside corner again. Wilson and O'Brien really working the corners. Outside corner, drop.
And we have another Wilson added to the order and the contest. Travis Wilson didn't like that last call. And for not liking that first one, he might have got that last one. That
I
one
think
looked
so.
too bad.
Looked like he had the outside corner there. Maybe
Chris
a little
Wilson.
high. And he
Chris
takes him
Wilson.
inside corner drop.
He gets
Just
Travis
excellent.
Wilson.
Excellent pitching and catching there by Wilson and O'Brien.
Now batting with one out, the second baseman, number 4, Eddie Colesi.
We see Wilson here and O'Brien working the inside and outside corners, in and out. Down in the strike zone, excellent location. Setting those hitters up, they don't know what's coming.
Back to the top of the order, Eddie Colesi, second baseman. Struck out his first trip and grounded back to the pitcher in his second trip to the plate. He'll be followed by Dean Rice. Pitch from Wilson now. High and outside. Chris Wilson on the mound. Sean O'Brien behind the dish. Going inside.
Still
Good.
working those corners. That one was a little low.
Great location here, Ray. We get a pretty good look at the actual pitch. And they asked for an appeal, and Les Novak says, no, I had a good look at it. I have to agree with him on that one.
Yes, I think he held up.
It's the pitch now to Colesi. Strike called.
Inside part of the plate again. Wilson, even when he's behind, he's not giving him anything right down the pipe. It's always on the corners.
And he foul shot down the third baseline.
Good pitch again. Good location. Low and inside.
Look at the batter, Eddie Colisi. Dean Rice, sorry. Dean Rice drives a walk. Sorry, that was Eddie Colisi there.
That's right. Took that pitch low and inside, got the base on balls. Again, we'll see New Zealand
Now
try
batting with
to
one out, the
get
second
something going
baseman,
here.
Number 5, Dean
Guess you can't always
Rice.
believe what you see, Ray. I looked at the monitor and they told me it was Dean Rice, but no. Colisi's still there. Dean Rice up now.
O'Brien, okay, last pitch here. See, the ball was low and inside. And he takes the walk on that one.
Well, Dean Rice lined out to the pitcher his first trip and grounded out to second base his last trip to the plate. We have conferences all over. We see a conference at first base there.
Coach Bob Butzlag from Victoria out talking to the players here, setting up the defense. New Zealand is likely to try something here. Bunt, sacrifice bunt or a fake bunt, slap it through. They're very good at that.
Well, Butzlag is most likely taking over the head coaching duties with Bader with Toronto.
That's right. Jerry Bader's coaching the Toronto Gators this weekend, so Bob Butzlag and Ron Clark are handling the Canadian National Development Team.
And we're set to go. A good shot there of Chris Wilson on the slab for the development team. Wilson with the pitch. One. Wilson off the mound quick, gets the out. Sacrifice executed well, as we've seen a lot this weekend.
That's right, and the national team was a little slow at covering third base there. The runner had a notion to go to third, but
with 2 out, the left fielder, number 25.
Now Steve Roberts comes to the plate. He's went off field both times in his trips to the plate. Flied out to second base his first trip, and then grounded out to second base his last at bat. And look there at the close play on the bunt at first.
that's
but
right.
They did execute the sacrifice.
Good execution on both sides. And they have the runner in scoring position. Wilson blew that one by him, a rise ball.
Steve Roberts, left fielder. Foul back.
And again, Wilson putting some giddy up on it. Had him behind on the swing.
Yes, he's certainly not horsing around. Steve Roberts now at the plate. And Chris Wilson steps to the slab. Ryan with the signal and the pitch. Foul back once again.
Time to chase a rise ball here.
Got a piece of it. And the crowd's starting to fill up pretty good here. Getting ready for the championship round, which will start right after this contest. That pitch in the dirt.
Drop ball, but O'Brien recovers, holds that runner at second.
Colisi not wanting to take any chances there. They need to run bad.
Yes, a single will score him here.
Wilson now with the pitch. That's fouled down the first base side. He's battling. Pitcher batter confrontation here. Roberts steps in once again. You see Wilson readying himself on the slab. And the pitch. Counter to third baseman. And that's out.
Routine.
McIntosh to Todd King. So the score remains 1-0 in favor of the Canadian National Development Team.
No runs on no hits. No Canada errors. 1 runner left on base.
And there's a look at the last out. Steve Roberts.
Hey, we have a ground ball here to third base. And no problem there for the third baseman coming up with the ball, making the throw to first.
Bottom of 6 here. plate will be, I believe it's Giesbrecht.
I believe it's Todd King.
Right up to the top again. Okay.
He's the guy that starts it rolling here. Did it last time, so the National Development Team would like to get King on base again. He uses speed.
Re-entering the game at shortstop.
King has scored the only run of the contest.
Leading off for Canada in the bottom of the 6th inning, the first baseman, number 29.
Re-entry
Todd
at second base.
King.
Roman Gabriel has come back in and will take Travis Wilson out of the game on the re-entry rule. We'll see no more of Travis Wilson, so that's one less Wilson to deal with. Todd King steps to the plate to face Steve Leach.
King liked to, he faked that bunt and slap last time. Tried it again. Got him with a drop ball.
And you'd think maybe they were expecting that, Ray, through that drop pitch. And
Well, he
did
likes
the
to
job.
do a lot of that, so keeps the defense honest out there. He might lay down the bunt next time and run.
King batting .500 in the contest, 1 for 2. Here's the pitch from Leach. Foul ball.
The ball came up and hit him. Good call.
No question by Les Novak. Even got a smile out of the coach on that one. Les is, he's in it. Les Novak from Minnesota. Travels up to do the shootout every year. His buddies on this contest, Guy Neron on first base and Mark Corbin handling third base side. Todd King steps back into the plate. There's a slap bunt again. They get him this time. Leach off the mound quickly.
Good play here. King loves that
Now
fake
batting
bunt
with one
slap.
out, the second baseman, number
Utilizes
6,
his speed
Scott
very well.
Hirschman.
Scott Hirschman got the only RBI on a single his last trip to the plate.
You see King here turn and slap the ball. His speed makes it close.
Once again, back to pitcher Steve Leach for the out. Leach having a big inning. And none of them involve K's.
Same
Now batting
type
with
of
two
play by
out,
Hirschman.
the center fielder, number 25.
The Canadian team trying to utilize their speed. Put the ball in play and run. That's the name of the game.
Well, Giesbrecht singled his last trip to the plate. He's 1 for 2.
Giesbrecht has the capability of hitting the long ball as well.
Here's the pitch. That gets away. Giesbrecht in his first trip grounded out to first base. And his last trip, as I said, had a single. Good look at young Rob Giesbrecht. No, he's not from Pembroke, for all you hockey fans. 1 for 2, single and an RBI. Here's the pitch. That's fouled back.
Giesbrecht wanted that one. He had a good cut at it, fouled it off. Might be the best pitch you'll see in this at bat.
He wasn't happy with that one, Ray. Giesbrecht steps back in to face Leach. Steve Leach on the slab with the release. I'd have to agree on that one, Ray. I think
Yes, he managed to hold up there in the last minute.
good shot there of the batter, Rob Giesbrecht. Can't say enough for the work done by our cameramen this weekend. A little high.
Off speed, a little high in the zone there.
He's the president's choice. I wonder what Mr. Chrétien thinks about him. Guess that would be a premier choice. Here's the pitch. And that one fouled down the first base side.
Got over top of that one. Fouled it off.
Quite a battle going on here between Steve Leach and Rob Giesbrecht. Giesbrecht's already done some damage with a single last trip. Leach gets a signal. Here's the delivery. Swing and a miss.
And he blew it by him.
Another K for Steve Leach. Brings his total to 6 strikeouts for Steve Leach.
We see here power against power as Leach blows a rise ball by Giesbrecht.
9 strikeouts for Chris Wilson and 6 for Steve Leach, I believe. That's according to my calculations. 1-0 the score here. Rafi Finkelstein. Get a good shot at him up in the tower. He's the guy behind that is hoping he's not hurting. A lot of foul balls, and I guess they most likely choose the most nimble-footed cameraman to put up.
Maybe
there.
He's an old catcher.
They don't put Wayne Adams there anymore, and I can understand why.
Get my glove and a catcher's mask, and it's all set.
You'd have to get a bifocal catcher's mask.
Leading off for New Zealand in the top of the 7th inning, the center fielder, number 22.
Fred Wyatt stepped to the plate. Fred not having a good day. He struck out his previous 2 trips. Wyatt will be followed by the catcher, Bevan Martin. Here's the pitch. High and outside. National Development Team still up 1-0.
Fred is very capable here. I believe he hit a home run last night against Waterloo.
Strike called. Mr. Wyatt. Here's the pitch. And he gets the call at first. At least the Canadian team gets the call at first.
That's right. He wasn't able to hold up on that one.
Wyatt returns to the box. Wilson with the pitch. And we've seen O'Brien set up on the outside corner for that one, right? You'll see a lot of that, these catchers moving.
O'Brien is an excellent catcher. Moving the target around in there for Wilson, and he's been hitting it all day.
That's foul. Well, maybe not foul, but that should be locked up by right fielder Jason Moline.
Routine fly ball there. Got him a pitch on the outside corner. He just fought it off. Wasn't much he could do with it.
The catcher, number 11.
Bevan Martin now will come to the plate. He's also K'd his last 2 trips. Followed by Gus Ledger. So again, they're picking over those fastballs. Picky bunch. Chris Wilson on the mound. Here's the pitch.
Good location. Inside corner, right under the hands. Very hard to do anything with a pitch like that.
Not sure if Bevan Martin agrees with it, but he's a catcher. He'll walk away so he doesn't get Les Novak on his wrong side. Coming up, the playoff round of this year's shootout. Right after this contest, we go to the quarterfinal and the semifinal, and then the big one. Ball hit down the third base side, foul. Good effort there by third baseman Keith McIntosh. Big decision to be made here by Martin. He's got 2 bats there. No, it's not Martin, I guess, on the on-deck circle. It's Gus Ledger returning the instrument to Martin. Martin, the catcher. Wearing the double ones. Here's the pitch. Foul back.
Again, inside, rise ball that time, right up on the hands.
And Wilson is up on Martin. Wilson's had a good contest at this point.
He showed excellent control today. He's been able to pitch to the spots using the corners out there, all four corners of that strike zone. Very seldom throwing it right down the middle.
9 strikeouts registered to Chris Wilson. I like watching this Les Novak. He gets his point across right.
Batter had a notion on that one. Drop ball down the dirt. Les says he held up on it.
Martin returns to face Chris Wilson. Here's a shot from Wilson. Little blooper handled by the second baseman, Scott Hirschman. No problem for the out. Make it look elementary, Ray.
That's right. A lot of speed out there on defense as well. Hirschman goes back and gets it.
Ledger comes to the plate. He hit one up the middle on his first trip and reached on a base on balls last trip to the dish.
Again, Wilson had that pitch in an excellent location. It was up on the handle there, and batter just more or less fought it off.
Gus Ledger, the right fielder, at the plate. Little high. He'll be followed by Todd Wilson. And the time becoming a factor for this New Zealand team with that one-run deficit, right?
That's right.
Little high. They're certainly getting on Novak now here on the Canadian side. Ledger stepped out to take a break. And the pitch. Strike call.
Inside part of the plate again at the letters.
Here's the pitch, swing and a miss.
And he goes outside part of the plate.
2 out here. With Gus Ledger at the plate. Here's the pitch to Ledger. Inside.
Trying to get him to chase that inside pitch again.
Full count. 3-2 the count on Gus Ledger. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss.
He gets him.
O'Brien sees that one, and that's it, Ray.
That squeeze in there. Excellent game from Wilson. Pitched very well.
I think we'd have to say Chris Wilson might be a candidate for the
He would be an excellent candidate
MVP.
for MVP. He was in complete control out there today.
Should get that shortly
No runners left on base.
from
The
our
final summaries
staff here.
for New Zealand,
Customary
no runs,
handshake.
1 error,
1-0.
and 3 runners left on base.
Final score.
For the Canadian
That's right.
development team, 1 run, 3 hits, no errors, and 2 runners left on base.
Good contest,
The winning
and
pitcher,
we're
Chris Wilson.
expecting that.
The losing pitcher,
New
Steve
Zealand,
Lee.
Ray, will now go home. They
That's
have lost that one.
Please.
That's unfortunate. They're a good team. Came a long way.
Report to the bus
But
immediately.
Canada played
Driver of the
just an
Newfoundland
excellent
bus, report to the
game
bus
here.
immediately.
And hopefully they enjoyed their trip to the Valley, Perth in particular.
I would think they would enjoy that. They'll be well treated by Neil Fennell, and this was an excellent fastball game here.
Well, they had a trip through Ontario, as we were saying earlier, in Innerkip on Wednesday
Ladies and
night.
gentlemen, the recipient
And
of the
on Thursday
Canadian
evening,
Tire Player of the Game
Sorry,
Award,
Wednesday evening they were in Port
from
Perry.
the
Tuesday
Canadian
evening in
Development
Innerkip.
Team,
Got
number
to,
35, Chris Wilson.
And I think we called that one, right?
I think
As
so.
we hear
Wilson,
Peter Peckett announcing
If
Chris Wilson.
Wilson had
reports
just
to
an
the
excellent
souvenir
game.
tent
And I'm sure they're pretty happy that they picked him up, Ray, because
he certainly didn't hurt them this weekend. He's pitched a couple of victories for them, along with Brad Baker. So Wilson
they'll move
performing
into the playoffs
very well.
now. Move into the playoffs with Baker and Wilson. And
hopefully they'll have enough players
that's
to field the team here later on this afternoon, as some of these players have to fly out and go back to their various homes in Western and Eastern Canada.
Well, there's the graphics, Ray. The X indicates that the national team didn't need to take their last at bat, but no runs, 1 hit, 1 error to the visiting New Zealand national team. The Canadian national development team, 1 run on 3 hits, no errors, and Wilson with the victory and also with the MVP honors in this contest. It really shows well, though, for ball in Canada, Ray. That young squad as we're looking at them right now, with the coach on the crutches there. We're going to take a short break, and Glenn Sutherland will be back to talk to Mr. Wilson, Chris Wilson, the MVP of this contest. Don't go away.
Trillium's continuing coverage of the Perth Invitational Fastball Tournament. I'm your host, Glenn Sutherland, and I'm here with Chris Wilson from the Canadian National Development Team. Chris, the MVP of the last game. It's hard to argue with a one-hitter, Chris, but unfortunately a lot of people were expecting your team to move on, winning your group, but unfortunately, before we talk about the one-hitter, there's been some changes, and the Canadian National Development Team will have to drop out of the tournament. Can you expand on that for us?
Yeah, I can actually. A lot of the guys, because of flight schedules and things like that, are having to head home a little early to make connecting flights and whatnot. So unfortunately, we're going to have to pull out at this time, and so that they can make it home.
Well, Chris, let's talk about the previous game. A one-hitter, fabulous pitching by yourself. A lot of strikeouts right at the beginning. Did you feel when you were out there that this was going to be a good game for Chris Wilson?
Oh, I didn't know about that. I mean, I felt good, and I mean, when you warm up, it can go either way. But when I got into the first couple innings, started to get the ball by him and felt really good. And then as the game kind of went on, realized that I'm going to have to spot the ball a little bit better because they're a good hitting team. So kind of worked the ball around, and everything worked out fine. So.
And unfortunately, it's the New Zealand team does move on, even though you've defeated them, and they will be taking your place. Your opinion on this New Zealand squad, what you saw, and maybe what they're going to have to do to maybe move on to the semis in the finals.
Well, I mean, they can hit. There's no doubt about that. Our guys played some good defense around me as well. They've got a heck of a pitcher in Marty Grant here. So, I mean, he can hold any team in any game. So I think Allcar's certainly got their work cut out for him, trying to get the ball hit off of him.
Besides some fabulous pitching today, what do you think was maybe another key to the Canadian victory this afternoon?
Well, I think it's what's happened all the way through. These kids just don't give up. They just want to play ball. They love playing ball. They come to the park ready to go, and they just, we scratched out a run and just kind of held on, and that's what they did game in and game out. They just love playing this game.
And Chris, we were speaking before we did the interview, just quickly talking about the fact that this is a development team, and maybe it's not so important that you have to drop out of the tournament, but just quickly a great chance for the exposure.
Yeah, the kids wanted to see this kind of ball, and it's been a great week for them with the camp and whatnot. Now they've seen that they can compete at any level, and they'll go back to their club teams and tell everybody that this is possible to play in a national level.
Okay, thank you very much, Chris. This has been Glenn Sutherland with Chris Wilson, MVP of the recent game between the Canadian National Development Squad and New Zealand, which the Canadians won by a score of 1-0. So for Claire Porter and Ray Madden and the entire Trillium crew, I'm Glenn Sutherland signing off. Again, the final score of today's game, the Canadian national team defeat New Zealand by a score of 1-0. In our game coming up, it'll be a quarterfinal matchup between Green Bay All-Car Roadrunners from Wisconsin and the New Zealand national squad. Stay tuned.
While in the area, Trillium Scarborough's staff and volunteers stayed at the Rideau Ferry Inn in Rideau Ferry.